to the bold analysis. The plan that was made for cabinet secretaries to appear in the National Assembly to respond to queries in what has been touted as a move to make the government accountable is just a PR exercise. Because now it has emerged that Cabinet Secretary in charge of Labor, Florence Bore, has declined summons in the National Assembly, and the majority leader, Kimani Ichun'gwa, is saying that MPs are planning to impeach the CS on the ground that he is treating the House with contempt and not appearing despite the 2 invites from the Speaker. Ichun'gwa claimed that CS Bore was acting arrogantly, yet she was vetted and endorsed by the same members of parliament whom she had allegedly defied. The majority leader is saying that Bore's defiance was exemplified by her letter to the Speaker, in which she noted that she was handling some matters outside Nairobi and she would not be able to obey the summons. Ichun'gwa is saying that they are disappointed with the CS because the CS has declined to obey their summons. That is going to be the gist of this analysis. Before that, let me still take a minute and remind you about Sarah's last expense to support this lady here. We fundraised for her medical bill last year in the tune of 1.3 million, and she had been diagnosed with acute leukemia. But as fate will have its way, she passed on 26th June, that was last week, and the burial is slated for 15th July. The family is a bit overwhelmed because the bill is there. She was taken to the hospital, took some time in the hospital, and also the last expense. So the Bold family, we as the Bold family, I think we've hanged around her and for quite so long in terms of during this battle. And I'm just asking us that kindly help us to finish with the last challenge. 100 bob challenge for the last expense and the welfare of the child in the medical bill that is also still hanging there. So thank you for those who are responding, and I believe that we'll be in a position to, as Bold family, we've always done it. Thank you for those who are doing more, because not all of us can raise because the situation is very tough in Kenya, but I'm just so grateful for your support. Now, I'm not equally shocked, and these MPs should not be shocked, that a cabinet secretary is treating the assembly with contempt, because themselves, that is a seed they have planted. They have to blame themselves for it. They are complaining about the dignity of that house, but that house lost its dignity immediately the moment it allowed itself to be used as a rubber stamp of the executive. Cabinet secretary is a member of the executive, and the said cabinet secretary has been in the limelight. I think that is the first time recently. There have been a lot of stories going around, and they've been going on. Even if you look at the way the cabinet, she's not the first one. The way members of cabinet are treating that exercise, it's just mere some PR exercise. Because even Moses Kuria defied those summons twice, then he went on later. What is simply showing here is MPs planted the seed of disrespect. They made the parliament lose its value. That's it. When Senate was hearing the impeachment motion against my deputy governor, a call came from State House and things went through. When Kenyans were raising pertinent questions on the finance bill, they were defied and the assembly decided to listen to what the executive was saying. So who makes you think that you can hoodwink Kenyans that you are going to impeach a CS who is appointed by William Ruto and you've been listening to the voice of the executive? It is something that they have to blame themselves. I've always said that Parliament eroded its significance in our government. Parliament eroded its importance and is now, I think, a rubber stamp of the executive. Now, there is that which I'm seeing in this plan. The plan first is like the way Kimani Ichun'gwa is saying, he is the majority leader in the National Assembly and is saying, asking the president whether he has authorized such kind of contempt from members of his cabinet. It is a bit of a push and pull, but for me, it just looks like some PR exercise. If the cabinet secretary can fail to go and appear there, then the process of allowing cabinet members to appear in parliament to answer queries is none other than a political gimmick. And let's pause for a minute. What so far is the significance of that? Because what William Ruto has said, and he's gone in record saying, that is the first president that he has allowed the cabinet members to go to the National Assembly, to be invited in the National Assembly to audit, in order to explain what they're doing in what is seen as advancing accountability. But do you know the reason why that exercise was done was because William Ruto was looking for a platform where cabinet members can explain and create awareness on the government agenda. The whole process, there is no significant audit queries that cabinet members have been answering. No value for it. Because if they go there and the majority side embrace, get the way everything is scripted and done so that what they're supposed to say is what comes out in the media, then honestly, even CS Bore does not see the value for it. And it clearly tells you that the seriousness of William Ruto in allowing his members of his cabinet to appear in the assembly is in doubt. Secondly, Parliament is under capture. And that is the tragedy that has befell this country. They've known very well, even these members of executive, they've known very well that the MPs can threaten about impeachment. But such an impeachment, me and you know very well that it cannot see the light of the day because the MPs are already captured. You know, and the capture is both from the executive and even these members, because we have had very sad stories about MPs who receive bribes to pass bills. You know, MPs who they receive personal fortunes even from the executive and other members so that they can pass bill. And the reason why the cabinet secretary does not see and is not afraid of even defying Speaker Wetangula's summons is because of parliament capture. But maybe go far from it. I once said in this podcast that there was a blunder. It was political convenience to give your friends such positions. Speaker Wetangula believes that William Ruto is the president because of him, the votes from Bungoma. And Ruto made him the Speaker of the National Assembly. But Ruto also knows that it is UDA MPs who are majority that voted for Wetangula. So even if you are Wetangula, do you want to tell me that Wetangula can fail to dance to Ruto's tune? So there is a lot of disrespect even from the Ruto side by these MPs because they are not seeing anything that Tentacular can do. Such a plan can actually be hatched. I also see a possibility that the MP, the cabinet secretary recently had some scandal, some saga with an MP from Mount Kenya. And you know, it was about purchase of a house, and it really came in the limelight about how the whole controversy about purchase of a house from a member of parliament coming from Mount Kenya. And I've even seen that emerging in that discussion because I was just reading that article, and it's saying, there is something he's saying here. Budalangi MP, Mr. MP Raphael Wanjala claimed that the CS was fomenting another scandal and promised her a bitter impeachment process. There are a number of allegations, quoting him, against this particular cabinet secretary, including something that happened in Karen. We now know what really happened against one of our own. Now, this kind of contempt, or rather arrogant contempt, is a very clear understanding on how the executive is treating parliament. She knows very well that the MPs are backing, but when the owner of the dog will come out, the dogs will keep quiet. In this case, I don't mean the MPs are the dogs, but what I'm simply saying here is that he knows very well that when Ruto comes out and talks to intervenes, the whole impeachment story shall gonna end. Now, in Nyama, this is a myth that is a trap. What's going to happen if indeed that motion is taken? The opposition MPs may take it. And are we just in creation of another twist or another story in the headline? It is a matter of wait and see. Thank you very much, guys. Let's meet in the next